Let's go from a song idea to this.
When she smiles, it feels like the sun. The sun.
That's what I consider a decent demo quality. I'm going to show you how to do it in Reaper step by step. We're going to take you all the way through it. It's not overly technical, so if you're a musician or a singer, songwriter, and you want to record demos, this is for you. I'm Keith from No Label, No Producer, No Limits.com. Let's go. First, open up Reaper and create a new project. I choose a new project, hit OK. And if you don't have your preferences set up yet, go to File, Default Menu, Main File, Project Settings, and then choose this Media tab and create a folder name here. Don't specify the path, just media files or audio files is fine, and hit Save as Default Project Settings. This is going to help make sure that all your files are in the same place and well organized. Then go to File, Save Project As, and name the song. I'm going to call this New Song 2. Check the Create Subdirectory for Project, and that means Reaper will create a folder wherever you're set. I have this folder called Song Projects, and each of these folders is a song. So this will create the folder New Song 2, and along with the setting that we saved in Preferences, this means that every file that Reaper makes will be saved to that directory. So it makes this very easy to collaborate and also easy for organizational purposes. Then the next step is to set the tempo. I will often just hum the song or sing along and tap in the tempo here, right? This button turns into the word tap if you mouse over it, and I could go do 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 do. Do 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 do. And we have this tempo set at 142. Then I'll make sure that the metronome is turned on, and I will check the tempo. Do 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 do. That seems just a little slow, so I'm going to highlight and type in 143 instead, and play it back again and check. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take my phone and play a little bit of the song with my guitar into the phone, maybe singing, and then play that recording back and tap in the tempo. Okay, now you've got your song set up, saved, and you have a tempo. The next step I usually take is to add scratch drums. Okay, once you open up Reaper, your screen might look a little different. For instance, if you see the mixer down here, I just usually get rid of that when I'm tracking. So just go to View, and get rid of anything you don't want, the Docker or the mixer. You do want the transport, so if that ever disappears, you can find it up here in the View menu. These settings are important here. This is the snap to grid setting, and this is the grid setting. It's important to have those on because what we're going to do requires some accuracy. And now I'm ready to lay down some virtual drums. It's easier to get the groove if you have your tempo set properly and you have some drums which are going to approximate what you'll end up with when the song is finished. So we want to get this groove right. I'm going to right-click and go to Insert Virtual Instrument Tracks. So I use both Addictive Drums 2 and Slate drums, and they're both great. I've got SSD installed right now, so I'm typing SSD and clicking that and clicking Add. It's going to ask me if I want these all on separate tracks, and I don't right now. I will later. So now I just have SSD here. I can take it out of Record. These tabs over here on the left will let you do various things. So this one is where your kits are. You can load up a kit by selecting the category over here and then double-clicking. Let's try Classic Big Fatty. And the drum kit loads. And now I will go to Grooves. And if we look at Core Rock, let's see what's here. Here we have a hi-hat pattern, 4 bars. I'm just going to drag it in here, and we'll take a listen. What I usually do is just find a beat that matches my idea of what I'm going to have in the song. So now I'm going to left-click on this to select it, hold down Control, and drag to the right. And we're going to drop this here. So now we have 4 8 measures of drums rather than 4. Let's pull this track down a little bit so we can see what's going on. So let's say that's going to be our verse. I'm going to left click and drag to exactly select this section. So if you don't have snap on, you could select something that's in between a bar, so in between a marker. So we want snap on so that we can select exactly 4 measures. And now I will go to the timeline menu, regions, insert region from time selection. I will call this verse 1. Click OK. And now we have a region. This one happens to be yellow. You can color it any way that you like. Now let's suppose I know there's going to be 2 of these verses. I will left click up here on the region, hold down the control key, that would be command on a Mac, and drag to the end. And now I have 2 verses. Now let's say I want a chorus next, and I'm going to pull in this 4-bar chorus beat that has a ride cymbal instead of a hi-hat. So too busy for me. Let's go to basic beats here. Beat 7, ride with 4 bars. Okay, let's call that good. I'm going to select this chorus exactly, and timeline, regions, insert region from time selection. We'll call this chorus. Okay, so that's how you build up the Scratch drum track. It's pretty easy. Go ahead and download the free version of Stephen Slate drums if you like, and use that for your Scratch drums as opposed to playing things in with a metronome. Okay, I've arranged the song a little bit more. We have verses, choruses, and even a bridge. Now keep in mind that we created the drum track using drum emulation software and existing patterns from within that drum machine. And in a little bit we're going to get into how to record live instruments such as guitar or vocals. But now let's learn how to write MIDI tracks. Now I've played bass on records before and live in bands, but I don't have a bass with me, so I'm going to use a virtual bass. Added a track here, and you can add a track just by double clicking over here in the track control panel if you like. I've labeled it bass synth. Let's call up the effects window, and I'm going to add contact 7 here, which has my bass libraries in it. Load up SR5 Lite, and I should have some bass sounds. Okay, now I'm going to drag, click and drag, left click and drag halfway through this pattern and go to timeline, insert MIDI item. Whoops, did it on the wrong track. That's okay, just drag it up here and delete this track. So if I double click on the MIDI item, you can see the item here. I'm going to scroll in and out with the scroll wheel to make this readable. So I can just left click and draw a note. And if I want it longer, I can draw it out. This particular bass model sustains the note until you put in a stop or tell it to play another note. So let's create a couple patterns here. I'm going to copy these notes by holding down Control. That would be Command on a Mac. Left clicking and dragging. Let's duplicate that whole pattern. I'm marquee selecting by right-clicking and dragging over these 3 items. Then I can hold down Control or Command, left-click and drag, and I can have new copies of that. So I'm just writing a bass line here. Let's right-click and drag over all these. Hold down Control, Command on a Mac, left-click and drag over, and we've duplicated that whole pattern. Okay, so that's half of our verse. I'm going to select it again by left-clicking, hold Control down, Command on a Mac, and dragging over here, and now we have duplicated the bass part for the verse. Just a little bit about MIDI. These aren't sounds. This is just computerized information. This sends information about what note to play and how loud to play it, and how long the note is played for. And then the VST here, in this case, contact playing SR5 bass, rock bass, is telling it what sounds to use. So we could put another VST on here. I'm going to put something called EVM, which is a synth bass, and we'll deselect contact here, and you'll hear a different sound.
I just smile and say, I'll be there in no time. So I just smile and say, I'll be there in no time. I plan my getaway, gonna leave all this behind. No, I'm not gonna stay, gonna hit the road and feel the wind upon my face, my mind, instead of living this slow life. I just smile and say, I'll be there in no time.
Type home recording in the comments to get more information on the Home Recording Mentorship program. I'm going to put some stops in here because I think it should stop on the snare. Yeah, let's double that up. Okay, and then let's delete this one and create it here. Now we could, again, take this whole bass line, select them both, click and drag over, and then we could have all of our verses done. Now what can happen here, and what typically happens, is that you get something like this laid out. It's basically a scratch bass track, and we can come in and make little subtle changes from verse to verse to make it work. So that is how you write a MIDI track with a sound. So as I say, SR5 rock bass, I like it. I've had it for, I don't know, 10 years or so, and it's what I use typically when I want a rock bass on a track. But there's lots of bass simulation softwares out there, so you can choose the one that you like. Here I have the song a bit more advanced. I have verses and choruses and even a bridge, and it's time to lay down some guitar tracks. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want more of a count off here. I'll turn the metronome on and we'll listen here. I only have one measure of count off there, so let's lengthen that out a little bit. I'm going to select this section and go to Timeline, Default Menu, Empty Space at Time Selection. So now we've got 2 measures. Let's do that again. So we'll make it 4 measures. So Timeline, Default Menu, Main, Insert, Empty Space at Timeline Selection. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. Let's take that same amount of drum beat and select it. That's 3 measures. Let's do 4. A few words about these buttons and menus. This is the record arm button. We press it in order to put a track in record ready mode. And once you press it, you'll see this drop down up here. That is if your track is big enough. If your track is too small, you'll have to drag it out here until you can see this. That chooses the input from the audio interface. My guitar is plugged into input number 1, so I've selected my client instrument number 1. Now you're looking at your meter here. This is decibels full scale. You want something that peaks no higher than about -6, or maybe an average of -18. Little high, little low is not too bad as long as it doesn't go above 0. This little speaker icon is important. It controls whether you can hear what you're recording or not, so you want to make sure this is set for record monitoring auto or record monitoring on. Either one of those will do. Down here is your transport mechanism, and it has a record button, so whatever track you have record armed will record as soon as you click that button, and everything will start playing back. This has a couple different modes. Record mode normal just starts recording when you press record, and record mode time selection auto punch, That's for if you want to take just a certain section, you can select the section, and then Reaper will punch in where the selection started and punch out where the selection stopped. For this particular part of the song, I'm just going to choose record mode normal and record this all the way through and then pick out the best performances. Naturally, when you're finished recording on any track, undo the record arm button so that keeps your track safe. Okay, now let's record some guitar. Let's double click on the track control panel here on the left and draw that track out and name it Guitar GTR1. It turns blue automatically for me because I have something set up. Let's put it in record ready and make sure you have this set for where you have your guitar plugged in on your audio interface. The next thing I will do is click on the effects button and put Neural Amp Modeler there on the effects. Now this is a free guitar amp simulation, Neural Amp Modeler, and there will be a link in the description for how to get it. I'm going to open it up and navigate to the folder where I have the Neural Amp Modelers, and let's try this Vox AC30 model. Just going to click on it. I'm going to set this monitoring here. I'm going to hit escape to deselect any of this. And now we should be able to record this guitar if I set my level, and I already have set my level over here, but what you would do is on your audio interface, you would use whatever gain knobs you use in order to make sure that the peaks are no higher than about -6. And so we should be ready to go. Let's record some tracks. Now I've listened to both these performances. They're pretty sloppy. I haven't played guitar in a couple of months. And I've picked out the two that I think are the tightest on this track here. This strum. It sounds a little rushed there actually. And this one on this track. So what I'm going to do is go through and replace all of the faulty strums with those good ones. Good in quotes. Okay, so let's take a look at this one carefully. Let me just pull this in from the one all the way to the next beat. Let's get rid of some of these earlier ones and just Control, left click, and drag. That would be Command on a Mac. So I should just take this all the way out to the one. That is the one right there, right? No, we're late. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to create a little fade here. If you mouse over the top of this waveform, you can create a little fade. Okay, let's do the same thing with this one here. I don't know how far this one goes. We'll just copy the whole thing. Okay, so now we should have something that we can copy and paste. So let's take these two, select them both by clicking, left clicking, holding down Shift, left clicking, and then copy them over. Okay, let's check, see if we got it. I'll just continue this on and on. Okay, so now we have these verse guitar parts, and if we're satisfied that they're good, I'm not, I would listen to these more carefully, but if we're satisfied that they're good, we could just select them all. I'm selecting by left clicking, holding down Shift, and then left clicking. And then I could go glue items, glue selected items. And then our guitar part is a single part. Okay, and we could move that over to our other verses if we so desired. The fastest way to get better at home recording is with a mentor. No, not with a Minotaur, a mentor. It's the way we all came up in the studio system back in the day. It's going to cut dozens of hours off of your learning curve, and it's going to drop your frustration dramatically. So if you're interested in home recording, I have a mentorship program. Just type home recording in the comments, and I'll send you more information. Okay, I had an idea for a melody, and that necessitates me changing chords here. I'm going from a C sus4 to a C. And on this third one, I want to change it to a G. From a G sus4 to a G. So let's start off with the bass line. We'll just change it right here for now. So these C's should be G's. I'm right-clicking and dragging to marquee select. There's a G. And I think this second one will be G as well. Let's take these down. Mute the guitars for a second. Let's take this middle climb down. We'll probably take this one down as well. So here we have the new bass line. Now we got to change the guitars. So let's start with this initial guitar. This is one that goes from a C sus4 to a C, and it is on the lower strings. So let's change that one right here. So I'm just going to select this area. Keep in mind I've still got Snap to Grid enabled. And I want to change the record mode to Time Selection Auto Punch. And to change modes on the record button, you right click and then select. So Time Selection Auto Punch means that I'm just going to punch in right here. And I've still got my guitar. It's all tuned up. Let's cut it. I have to record arm the track. It's going to have 2 repeats there actually, so I'm just going to extend this out a little bit. Let's Control Z out of there because that one was no good. Let's go on to the other guitar. So this one has a higher voicing. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's punching in. Once we have a take that we like, you can select it by left-clicking, and Alt-Shift-T crops to active take. Alt-Shift-T. And for both of these, it's the last take here, so I'm just going to copy them out. Let's make sure we got it right here. So that's the rhythm section, the drums, the bass, and the rhythm guitars. And we're up over 20 minutes now, so we'll divide this into 2 parts. In part 2, we'll cover recording vocals, adding EQ, compression, effects like reverb and delay, and even some synthesizer parts. So if you want to see how we got to the final result, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you'll be notified when new videos drop, including part 2. Otherwise, you might miss out.
When she smiles, it feels like the sun, the sun. And I'm alright, the future's bright with this one, this one.